Okay, folks, here's a quick review of the Jungle Patrol Dutch figure that was produced by NECA as part of their Predator line of products. I picked this up at Toys R Us for $15.99. This is part of the 8th series of these Predator figures that NECA has produced. And it should be noted that Series 8 also celebrates the 25th anniversary of the first Predator film. Okay, when I first got this figure out of its packaging, I liked its overall appearance. The head sculpt is quite nice, and I think it's a very nice rendition of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I also like that the exposed areas of his body are streaked with traces of dirt all over his arms and face. There are also traces of beard stubble and also streaks of camouflage paint on his face as well. Now, the joints on this figure were, for the most part, very tight, and thus they were very hard to move. Dutch has articulation in the neck, shoulders, mid-torso, waist, knees, and feet. The figure's joints are starting to loosen up with repeated movements, but only slightly. Paint apps were, for the most part, nicely done. I did find one minor flaw on his left boot, but that flaw is hidden when his feet are flat to the surface he's standing on. I was also pleased that the camouflage fatigues were nicely done. So let me pause here, zoom in, and I'll give you a closer look as to what Dutch looks like. Okay. Jungle Patrol Dutch comes with some accessories, so let me pan down real quick and I'll show you what they are. The figure stands that you see him standing on were not included in the package and were purchased by me separately. Okay, first up, here are his firearms. The assault rifle is an M16A1 with an M203 grenade launcher, and the pistol is a Desert Eagle. The pistol has a nice weathered, well-used look, which I did find myself wishing that NECA had carried over to his rifle, like they did with the Jungle Extraction Dutch figure. The strap on his rifle, it looks good, but it feels very fragile, so be careful not to accidentally break it. The pistol does fit into the belt holster on his right hip pretty nicely, but the holster strap was a bit tedious to peg into place properly. The strap on the holster also feels fragile, and it's quite thin, so be careful not to break that either. And I'm also not really all that fond of his gun holster flopping around loose, and I feel that it should have been held in place on his leg, like it was in the Predator film. Okay, next up, here is his combat knife, which I believe was designed by knife maker Jack Crane, if I remember correctly. This also has some nice detailing on it, but unfortunately he's not able to hold this weapon very well in his right hand. So it's going to sit in its scabbard on his left hip when I have this figure displayed on my shelf. All right, back to the figure itself. What I'll do now is a quick 360 of Jungle Patrol Dutch and let you see what he looks like from all sides. So here he is from the front. Here he is from the left. Here he is from the rear. The right-hand side. Finally, here he is once again from the front. So overall, I think this figure is a really nice piece of work. It's an excellent rendition of Arnold Schwarzenegger as he appeared in the middle portions of Predator. The only gripes that I do have about this figure are his not being able to hold the combat knife very well, and the M16 not looking well used like it did with the Jungle Extraction Dutch figure, and the pistol holster flopping around loosely. However, I feel that those are relatively minor issues, so I feel very comfortable in giving this figure a really high recommendation. I think that it's a solid addition to your Predator collection, and you should not miss out on this one. Okay, so on that note, take care and stay tuned for my next review. Have a good one.